be talking to you today about HTML5.
Nothing brings joy to my heart more than robotic androids dancing and singing.
Good morning.
Hello, this is RSCKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, today we are doing the watch along with Google I/O. So it just started. I believe this is the only one that I can find. It is with the American Sign Language. So what does that mean? That means the screen is just smaller than it normally would be. So I hope it'll be okay. I am also streaming this at a little bit of a lower resolution, just because I have my wife and my daughter working on their own chats right now for school and work. So I hope the stream's okay. I hope it's doing okay. I think the bit rate is a little bit lower than normal, but hopefully we'll get through this. Let me know in the chat if everything sounds and looks good. Now I will leave the link for this video just so you can watch along with me. And Matthew, you see in the chat, what's up? Doing good right now, sir. Just waiting to see what's about to be about this stuff.
It's great to be back at I/O. We are coming to you live from our campus here in Mountain View. Of course, it's not quite the same without our developer community sitting here in person. It's another reminder of the times we are living in.
I've been to Google's
Pandemic
campus
has brought
before.
us
It
together
really is
in a shared
insane.
experience for more than a year.
That's kind of cool that they have people
Now
sitting
we're
around
seeing that
on
common
chairs
experience
watching.
diverge. In some
Definitely
places,
different from
people are
what
beginning to
we
live
see.
their lives again as cases decline. Other places like Brazil and my home country of India are going through their most difficult moments yet. We are thinking of you and hoping for better days ahead. COVID-19 has deeply affected every community. It's also inspired coordination
So talking
between
about
public and private
a
sectors
lot of the PR global
across
stuff, obviously the
international borders.
pandemic,
At
Senator
Google,
China from
we
India
launched
as well,
products
so
and
definitely
initiatives to
talk
help
about this,
one
like,
another
his
through this time.
country very much so.
To help students and
country board.
teachers continue
So
their
yeah,
learning
it's very
from
much
anywhere.
so.
To help small businesses adapt and grow. And to get emergency relief
Small
and
businesses,
vaccines
I would
to
say Google
communities in
definitely
need.
has helped out a lot in that
We
aspect.
work closely with
Also to
many
find a
non-profit
vaccine
organizations
where
around
area
the globe.
is,
And you can go to the link behind me
I first
to
found out
support their
2 months ago
excellent
from my
work.
mom. She got hers.
At Google,
So, yeah.
the most fundamental way we help is by providing access to high-quality information. Authoritative information from 170 public health organizations around the world.
And again, if you
the
want to watch
FDA,
along, I left
and
the
the
link in the description. And if
We're
you
also
want
focused on
to,
helping people find
just let me know
accurate
if
information
everything
about
sounds
vaccines,
good and everything looks good.
including the hours and locations for
Try and
vaccine
see if
sites
the mic is
in
picking
many
up. It
countries on
seems a
Google
little bit
Maps and
lower
search.
than usual.
COVID-related information has been viewed hundreds of billions of times across our products and platforms. It continues to help people make decisions and keep their families safe. I/O has always been a celebration of technology, and it's
There we go. The mic should be better now. Hopefully that sounds much better than what it was a second ago. It had changed the microphone that I normally used when I connected my headphones to it. So hopefully that sounds better. If you guys can, let me know how the audio is now. And hopefully it sounds good. If you didn't hear me before, the watch along has started. So again, if you want to click the link to watch along, that's what you can do. Hello from Los Angeles. Your sound has an echo. Yeah. So hopefully that sounds better. I'm also a little bit laggier today, I would say, because I have two video calls going on right now as I do this. I've tried to turn off Wi-Fi on every other electronic I have, so hopefully this is good. Yeah, this is my normal volume now, so yes, that's why I kept asking you guys, but I don't know if you guys could hear how the volume was in the beginning because I wasn't sure because I connected my headphones so I can hear the audio very easily without it being on the screen. I wanted to make sure it was okay.
This has potential to significantly reduce car emissions and fuel consumption. Second, safer routing. Powered by AI, maps can identify road, weather, and traffic conditions where you're likely to have to suddenly brake. We aim to reduce up to 100 million of these events every year.
I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on the new Maps stuff. So Maps is no longer by default going to be the fastest route. There are safer routes being prioritized, and also they just announced it.
Keeping students connected with affordable laptops.
And eco-friendly routes, basically. So that is now being prioritized over the fastest route. Personally, I still think I'll do the fastest route. They're reasoning between the safest route. I do understand they're trying to make less accidents happen. So with places that have a lot of stops, they actually won't refer to that as much, because they basically feel that, of course, that could also lead to more accidents as well. I mean, I feel like you're going on the freeway most of the time if you want to go the fastest route, so I don't think that's a really big issue, but it's curious to see that for sure. I want them to stop trying to tell me to make a left on a main street that's very hard to do without a street light. That's one thing that maybe that safer aspect would be good for.
With so many people now working from home, access to collaboration tools has never been more critical. In 2006, we introduced Docs and Sheets to help people to collaborate in real time. A year later, we added Google Slides. All of this is now part of Google Workspace.
Why wouldn't they do Google Slides? I feel like Google Slides would be higher prioritized for collaborations for businesses. That's just my opinion.
To enable richer collaboration. We call this Smart Canvas. And to tell you more, here is Javier.
I did not hear what this is being added to. My guess is it's Google Meet, which again is not popular because Google went from Hangouts to Duo and now to, or is it called Meet even? I think still, it's just, they keep doing too many stupid video things, and they just need to settle on one and stick with it.
For over a decade,
I still use Hangouts actually as my main messenger and video caller.
And toward collaborative, linked content inspired by the web. Smart Canvas is our next big step. Let's see how a distributed team uses Smart Canvas to plan an important marketing campaign. The launch date is just 2 months away, so Adu starts a document and quickly adds a brainstorm table. With app mentions, he pulls in the right people and generates a checklist to assign action items. These simple actions connect the team's
I think this is cool. In my last job, we did a lot like this, where basically we made an Excel spreadsheet, did goals, who's doing what, and basically assigned what and when the due date was. So I do think that is pretty good for the most part.
The assisted writing feature suggests that they change the word chairman.
Yeah, Google I/O is pretty boring so far. I mean, again, this Meet stuff is, I feel, a little bit irrelevant because people aren't using it. You know, people still will use. The reason why Zoom became the most popular is because you didn't need a specific email. You didn't need an Apple email like you do for FaceTime. You didn't need a Google email like you did for Google Meet. You could just do it very easily. And although Google Meet is now more like Zoom, it took a long time to get there, and it was so much easier for Zoom, and that's why Zoom got ahead of everyone.
But starting today, you can easily present.
I'm glad they finally added things you search for on the route instead of not on your route. Yeah, for sure. That they're prioritizing more on your route for Google Maps. We just want to know about phones and tech. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely, they're trying to do the other stuff first. That's kind of cool. I like the video that you're talking, and it's just a more polished look. And again, everyone can edit it at the same time. So that's pretty cool. Again, this is just kind of like, this would have been perfect last year when everyone needed this. Like, everyone needed this, and that would have been a great thing to do. But yeah, again, this is all stuff that like we created spreadsheets for at my last job. Like, literally everything they've shown is what we use spreadsheets for to create these things. And we would be on Zoom, and then someone would screen share the spreadsheet, and we would be working on it. So this is literally would have been perfect last year. Perfect.
Remain an equal part of the conversation, no matter where they are.
I feel like this is really late to the party. I completely agree. This is definitely late to the party in terms of it, for sure. Like, this would have been great last year to have.
Stay connected to their remote colleagues, and everyone can participate in polls, chat, and Q&A in real time. Companion mode is coming to Google Meet later this year. Teammates can also
Again, great to have last year, to do polls, to do all that kind of stuff. That would have been great to have last year. The problem is that they never prioritized Google Meet because no one used it, and then they were like, oh dang, we could really capitalize on this, and it was too late. Noise canceling is really good. That's something obviously that's really good to have for sure.
So teams can focus on what matters most in the moment. This means that when Adu presents to the rest of his team, he can easily arrange people's faces to gauge their reactions while staying focused on his content. And his colleagues across the globe can follow along with live.
You know, that is kind of cool. I would have loved to have that in Zoom. Like, sometimes I didn't want to pin certain people. Like, say if you're a student and someone else is giving a presentation, another student's giving a presentation, I would want to pin the teacher and the student doing the presentation. So that is something that, again, would be good, and again, kind of a little late.
Transforming collaboration in Google Workspace to help people succeed.
I'm just going to say Google Chip is going to dominate SD888 because it will be better optimized and not overheat. It is nice that they put a sign language interpreter. Yeah, this is the default one, actually. So on Google's stream, this was the only one I could find, was the sign language one. So it looks like they really want to make that the default. I believe several productivity already have this, products already have this, but they aren't in the Google family. Yeah, no, I think it's just, like, what's it called definitely has this, Teams, Microsoft Teams has this for their own 365 and that kind of stuff. So this is just something that Google's now doing for their own products, for sure. Okay, now we're talking about search.
Leads to dramatically better search results. We've made remarkable advances over the past 22 years, and search helps billions of people. And to improve search even further, we need to deepen our understanding of language and context. To do this requires advances in the most challenging areas of AI. And I want to talk about a few today, starting with translation. We learn and understand knowledge best in our native languages. So 15 years ago, we set out to translate.
So they're immediately going to translation.
Incredibly ambitious goal at the time. Today, hundreds of millions of people use Google Translate each month across more than 100 languages. Last month alone,
I mean, anytime I go to a website that's not English, I just click to Google Translate so it translates everything. Does anyone not do that? I feel like that's just the easiest thing to do.
And usage is up 4 times from just a year ago. While there is still work to do, we are getting closer.
Well, yeah, it's not going to go up that much because obviously we weren't traveling as much.
At the same time, advances in machine learning have led to tremendous breakthroughs in image recognition. In 2014, we first trained a production system to automatically...
Are you really improving Google Photos now that you're taking away the free version of it?
In computers' understanding of visual information. And it allowed us to...
I miss innovation. Yeah, innovation is definitely not as much. I mean, look, Google innovated the hell out of that phone call 2 years ago at Google I/O, where like a robot, essentially an AI robot, was talking to someone else and had a perfect conversation. They had no idea about that they were talking to a robot. So that was really cool. But that was 2 years ago.
Wish I had this.
Seriously, I don't know how, like, I would be getting A's in all my math stuff. Like, that's so easy. Not only that, can you check your work like that, by the way, but you can also go to, like, Wolfman Alpha and get step-by-step on how you do it. So, man, if I was a student now, I would be getting easily. It would just be like, all my homework would be done like this. I don't tell this stuff to my daughter. I want her to learn the old-fashioned way. But man,
it generates 250,000 hours of captioning every day.
That is live caption works perfectly. I will say that. Like I've used it on many different things that that even had their own live caption, but I just wanted to see if the Android version could do it, and it does it perfectly. Like it just does it very well, live caption, which is good. Say if you're in a place where you can't listen to audio and you didn't bring headphones for some reason, you could still basically just read all the closed captions. So it's nice for that. They need to do something with Stadia since nobody can get their hands on the next-gen consoles. Yeah, if they would do something with Stadia, that would be huge right now, but I feel like they're already giving up on it. I mean, they've already canceled their in-house studio for Stadia, and I just haven't seen Stadia make many strides, basically, at all. I think I have my controller here. Yeah, I have my Stadia controller in here. It's been in this drawer for like at least over half a year. I haven't used it.
Leading to one of our most significant quality improvements across Google search and enabling us to respond to queries with more helpful answers. In this case, realizing that the question was about parking on a hill without a curb. We have revolutionized the ability of computers to understand natural language. Yet,
I mean, look, Google's always going to be the best in search. I don't think anyone is anywhere near their level and could ever hope to do better with that.
This is because language is endlessly complex. We use it to tell stories.
Hate when Google says that. Sorry, I don't understand. Well, learn something.
From concepts we've learned over the course of our lives.
Google, good start with the basics when learning. Let's see. You need to learn this. You're not going to be able to have a calculator in your pocket everywhere. Old but relevant, yes. I mean, it's more so they need to learn it for homework so that they can get the good grade on the test. And you need to be able to do basic multiplication, addition, all that kind of stuff in your head, I feel like. You still need to be able to do that kind of stuff in your head. I think it's a very useful tool to be able to. And fractions and percentages are things you deal with all the time when it comes to tips, saving money for taxes, percentage of something, like all that kind of stuff I feel is valuable. When you get to calculus and all that kind of stuff, yeah, not as much. Stats is even still helpful.
I'm excited to share our latest breakthrough.
But yeah, the angles and degrees, algebra, geometry, not as much. I mean,
model for dialogue applications, and it's open domain, which means it's designed to converse on any topic. And while it's still in research and development, we've been using it internally to explore novel interactions. For example, say you wanted to learn about one of
I hope they pull these things on the next Pixel phone. Google be saying stuff and don't deliver on their camping. Yes, I do. Hey, that was my background image forever. That's the image of.
I sense your excitement. Ask me anything.
Tell me what I would see if I visited.
You would get to see a massive canyon, some frozen icebergs, geysers, and some craters.
That's the artist rendition of Mars.
It is worth the trip.
And it really does look beautiful.
You need to bring your coat because it gets really cold.
I'll keep that in mind. Hey, I was wondering, have you ever had any visitors?
Yes, I have had some.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone from Google watched my video. I swear, not only did I share that, but like I was like, everyone, this needs to be the image you have. They could have totally got it from the original source too.
I also sent them back a picture of myself since I had not been seen up close before.
That's so great. What else do you wish people knew about you?
I wish people knew that I am not just a random ice ball. I am actually a beautiful planet.
Well, I think you're beautiful.
I am glad to hear that.
Oh wait,
I don't get the recognition I deserve.
What planet was this? I actually forgot. No, it's not Mars.
As just a dwarf planet.
Is it Pluto?
Don't let it bother you.
Pluto. This is Pluto.
Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it.
Thanks for talking with me.
Anytime, I am always open for people to chat. I hope you have a great day.
It's kind of interesting. You aren't going to be able to have a calculator in your life for the stats. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun learning about space together.
Mastering the
Let's break
fundamentals
down
does
what
help you
made
later
it
in life,
feel
yeah.
so natural. First, learn concepts. As you saw, the model talked about the New Horizons spacecraft and the coldness of space. Lambda synthesized these concepts from its training data. These concepts were not hand-programmed in the model. Because none of the responses were predefined, Lambda answered with sensible responses, keeping the dialogue open-ended. Natural
I mean, it is
conversations are
crazy.
generative.
This kind of
And they
AI
never
is
take the
what I
same
think
path
scares a lot of
twice.
people, just because of
When Lambda is able
like
to carry
this
a
is
conversation,
human-like. Like
no
its
matter what we
responses
talk about.
are able to
You can
figure
have another
out how a
conversation
typical
without retraining the model.
conversation would go.
Let's see what happens.
Now they did say
when we
this is
talk
only
to a
internal,
paper
this
airplane.
technology, that
What's
they're
it like being thrown through the air?
doing it internal.
It's quite the experience.
So, like, you're
actually.
talking to
The
something.
wind blowing against you.
I think for
Trees
learning this
flying
is really
past are
cool,
quite
right?
the
Like
sight.
you could
You never
you're
know
having
where
a
you'll land
conversation
either.
with Pluto.
What's
You're
the
having a
worst place
conversation
you've
with a
ever
paper
landed?
airplane. I think the concept is
That
pretty
would have
cool.
to be in a puddle. I was just barely still intact, so I was stuck there for a few minutes. It was quite annoying.
Oh, that sounds awful. Were you able to fly again?
Google got your idea. Time to copyright
I
them.
was. I had a few minor injuries to my wing, but you can't really tell unless you know what
It's
to
the
look for.
gang signs for
What's
me.
the secret
Oops,
to a really
I meant the
good
sign language.
paper airplane?
Well, my good friend.
Yeah, the
I
sign
must
language
first
person has a
ask you to
personality. You could tell
specify
her,
what
like
you mean
she's
by
like
good.
she
Some may think
emotes
it's how far it
happiness
goes.
and also
Some
like
may think it's
what
how straight it
like.
goes, and some may think it's how flat it lands. So what do you
I think that's
think?
dope. Like she has such
I
a
care the
personality.
most
She
about
like
distance.
Then I would have to say
the
a nice
emphasis she
wide
does. It's
wingspan is
cool.
what you'll want. Also, the paper needs to be really firm.
You gotta have personality. I
farthest
think when
you've
you
ever
have sign
flown?
language like that, that's awesome. It's just not
Flown over about
boring. It's like
1,500
actually
feet.
emotions
The
that
wind was
she's putting
perfect
into
that day.
everything.
Wow, that's really far. That must have been quite a throw.
It was. I was actually thrown from a hot air balloon, believe it or not.
That's so cool. What did the world look like from out there?
It's
Like I
actually
think
a
of
lot
this
different than it
and
looks
say
from the ground.
someone like
The
my
world
son,
is so
right, when
large
he's
with
like
its vast
3 or
oceans and
4,
mountains.
if he would be
It
having a
puts things into
conversation
perspective.
with like a Google Home
Yeah, it's
speaker
important
that
to keep
has
perspective.
this,
Hey, I'm wondering.
I think
do
he
you have
would think
anything
he's
you want
talking to
share with the
someone.
people that are watching at home?
You know that the Google Home is life, like
I do.
basically.
I just want them to
Because
know
that's
that if
what
the
he
moon is
knows.
perfect
That's
and you're made
like,
of the right
oh, I can have a
materials,
conversation
you
with
can go
this,
absolutely
and that's
anywhere.
crazy if you really think about it. Like that, like a machine can be so realistic. Like you feel like it's talking to you, because that's what kid shows are designed for, right?
It's
They
really
ask
impressive to
you a
see how
question
Lambda
so you
carry
can
on a
respond
conversation
to.
about any topic.
So basically,
It's
they'll be
amazing
like,
how
well,
sensible
which
and
one is it?
interesting the conversation
And then
is.
just stand there, and
Yet,
the
it's
kid's
still
supposed to have a
early
conversation like,
research,
oh, that one.
so it doesn't get
But
everything
this
right.
is so
Sometimes it can
responsive
give nonsensical responses.
that it will
Imagining
actually
Pluto
like
doing
I don't
flips
know if
or
a
playing
child
fetch
would
with
be
its
able to tell
favorite
the
ball,
difference
the
that
moon.
this is not a
Other
person they're
times,
talking
it
to.
just doesn't keep the
They could
conversation
think of this
going.
as like a lifelike thing.
At
So yeah.
Google, we've been researching and developing language models for many years. We have focused
The
on
sign
ensuring
language
Lambda
didn't
meets
choose
our
her.
incredibly
She
high
chose the
standards
sign.
on fairness,
She is the most exciting thing about Google I/O so far.
safety, and
Oh wait, they
privacy.
switched out the person.
So from
I wonder if it's
concept
because
all the way
maybe
to
the person
design,
has to get tired.
we are
I'm
making
assuming. I mean,
sure
it's a
developed
lot to keep up with.
consistent our AI
And
principles.
maybe let's drink a water or something like that.
We believe Lambda
Okay, how is this
natural
guy's sign
conversation
language compared to the
capabilities
other
have the potential to
ladies?
make
I don't know.
Information and computing radically more accessible and easier to use. We look forward to incorporating better conversational features into products like Google Assistant,
Again, I think it's kind of cool.
Search,
His
and
sign.
Workspace. We're also
I like he kept doing this a
exploring
lot.
how to give capabilities
I don't know what that
to
means, but it's
developers
cool the way he does
and
it.
customers.
Like he's like, I don't know. It's
Lambda
like,
is
it's
a
real.
huge step forward in natural conversation.
I wish I knew sign language. I
But
think
it's
that's such a
still
cool
trained
thing to know.
only on
Just
text.
like you could be like talking to
People
someone,
communicate with
and
each
people
other.
around you don't even know what the
They
heck
do
you
it
just said.
across
That seems so cool.
images, text, audio, and video. So we need to build models that allow people to naturally ask questions across different types of information. These are called multimodal models. Let's say we want a model to recognize all facets of a road trip.
Dude, this kind of AI learning is the
Words
thing that
road
people
trip,
just
written
like
or spoken in any
are
language.
always like,
Images,
what
sounds,
is
and
going
videos,
on? Like
and
when it
concepts
gets so lifelike.
associated with road trips.
Nah, she killed it.
such
He's
as
in
weather
second
and
place.
directions. So you can imagine.
Yeah, no, I
how
think
they
the other
planned their
lady's
road trip.
definitely better at sign language. I would want to watch the other
Find a
lady
route
if I was
with
only looking at
beautiful
sign
mountain
language.
views.
Find
You
a
can
route
also
with beautiful
use this
mountain
to
views.
search for something within a video.
That's kind of
For example, when
interesting.
you say, "Show
Like,
me
I
the
want the
part
scenic
where a
route
lion
to
roars
San
at
Francisco,
sunset,"
and for
we will
Google
get you
to
that
do that.
exact moment in a video.
That's pretty cool.
It's still early days, but later
Okay,
on in the
you
keynote,
know
you
people
will
are
hear from
going to start
Google
doing,
the
like,
progress we are
especially
making
with
towards
shows like
more
Linus Tech
natural
Tips or whatever.
and
They're
intuitive
going
ways
to
of
literally
interacting
do
with
like,
search.
show me to the
Translation,
skip to the part where it
image
actually
recognition,
starts,
voice
or where he's
recognition,
opening up the
text-to-speech,
computer, or he has the
transformers.
unboxing or
All
whatever.
of this work
You
lays
know
the
they're going to skip
foundation
all
for complex
sponsors.
models like Lambda and multimodal.
The whole idea is that, yeah,
Our
you can say,
compute
show me this
infrastructure
part
is
on a
how we
video,
drive and sustain these
and it
advances.
skips to that part. That's
And
pretty cool.
tensor processing units are a big part of that. Today, I'm excited to announce our next generation, the Tpu V4. These are powered by the V4 chip, which is more than twice as fast as the V3 chip. TPUs are connected together into supercomputers called pods. A single V4 pod contains 4,096 V4 chips. And each pod has
Wow.
10x the interconnect bandwidth per chip at scale.
So basically, all of
Any
Google's
other
services
networking
are again
technology.
getting faster,
This
which
makes
is
it
good. I mean, I
possible
think it's
for a
needed as
TPU
more and
V4
more
pod to
people
deliver
use
more than
these,
1 exaflop.
and
10
they're
to
not
the
slowing
80
down
power
obviously
floating
at
point
all.
operations per second
So
of computing power. Think about it this way. If 10 million people were on their laptops right now, then all of those laptops put together would almost match the computing power of 1 exaflop. This is the fastest system we've ever deployed at Google, and a historic milestone for us. Previously, to get an
that's the
exaflop,
kind of
you
stuff
needed to build a
that someone
custom
mentioned Stadia
supercomputer.
earlier. That's the
But
kind
we
of speed
already have many
that
of these
gamers
deployed
should be
today.
interested in,
And
because
we'll
that's
soon
the
have
online
dozens of
speeds that
TPU
we
V4
need
pods
for
in our
less
data
lag.
centers, many of which will be operating at or near 90% carbon-free energy. And our TPU V4 pods
I
will
really
be
wonder how they
available
keep all
to
these
our
things
cloud
so
customers
cool.
later
I
this
mean, you
year.
know those things are
It's
loud
tremendously
for
exciting
sure,
to see the space of
but
innovation.
I just wonder how like the
As we look
heat is
further
in those
into the
rooms. They
future,
have to be so
there
hot,
are types of
but
problems that
they have
classical
to
computing
keep it
will
cool
not be able to solve
somehow.
in a reasonable time. Quantum computing.
And what I mean by that
represents a
is the
fundamental
energy
shift
that you're, I mean, they
because
say
it
it's renewable, so I'm
harnesses
guessing
properties
basically
of
that they have
quantum
wind power or
mechanics
solar power
and gives us the
really
best chance
doing
of
the
understanding
brunt of the
natural
work and
world.
saving a lot of the energy and
Achieving a
battery.
quantum milestone is
But
a tremendous
to
accomplishment.
the electricity that it
still at the
takes to
very
have
beginning
those kind of
of a multi-year
servers
journey.
and the cooling it takes to
One
cool them
problem we
down,
face today
that's a
is that
lot.
physical
That's a
qubits
lot of
are very
computing
fragile.
power. I mean,
Even
electricity. And we're
cosmic
talking
rays
about
from outer
more than
space
cities
can
use
destroy quantum
doing that.
information. To solve more complex problems, our next milestone is to create an error-corrected logical qubit. It's simply a collection of physical qubits stable enough to hold quantum information for a long period of time. We start by
Okay.
reducing the error rate of our physical qubits.
So nothing too
then
much. I'm just seeing
combining
if they have
1,000
anything.
physical qubits to create a single logical qubit,
Oh,
and then scaling that up.
I'll actually do, so they have the ability to do it without the sign language person. Did I just mess everything up?
Today,
I
we
might
are
have messed
focused
everything
on enabling
Okay.
scientists and developers to access.
I know you guys like the sign language person, but I decided to switch to the non-sign language one just so it's bigger.
Create an error-corrected
Let me know if I
quantum
should go
computer.
back, guys. Let me know if I should go back. At
Successful
least this way you see
means
more of the
everything from
screen.
increasing battery
And I see
efficiency
more of the screen.
to creating more sustainable energy, to improve drug discovery, and so
Does anybody
much more.
besides myself think Samsung
roadmap begins in
designed
our new
Google
data center,
Pixel
which
new
we are
hardware
calling
design?
the Quantum
Google
AI
helping
Campus.
Samsung with.
Let's
Oh
step
no,
inside.
we
Michael,
broke
are you
we
there?
broke that news on the last
Hey, Sundar,
on the
how's it
last
going? Yeah, I'm
special,
here, and I'm excited to learn why
on the
I'm
channel
here.
update,
I'm
or
guessing that's why
no
he's here.
sorry, not on the channel update, on the Mobile Weekly on Sunday. Samsung did make the Pixel phones. Samsung made the Pixel phones. That is confirmed.
Oh, thank you, thank you. What's this? Can I touch it?
Yeah, that's a quantum processor. And inside are these actual physical qubits.
Oh, hey, little guy.
Qubits are the fundamental building blocks of quantum computers, but they're incredibly fragile.
Oh.
even the tiniest particles can disrupt their operation.
Right.
Which is why we work so hard to create the optimal environment to keep them stable.
Right, and I'm guessing the optimal environment doesn't include like Cheeto dust. So I'm just gonna put this
no,
puppy
it
right
doesn't.
back.
Thanks. Let me show you where the clean ones go.
Cool.
So we built this campus to inspire all of our quantum mechanics and to show the world what the future of computing looks like.
Good for you, dude. Look at you, dude.
Thanks.
That's a cool lamp.
It's not a lamp.
He said,
This
"Good
is
for you,
actually a
dude."
cryostat, and you're looking at the inside of a quantum computer.
Wow, cryostat. I love that word, cryostat. I'm guessing people want to know what makes a cryostat a cryostat. Eric?
Well, everything you see here, from the wiring to the aluminum, copper, and gold metal stages, have been chosen to create a cold and quiet environment for our quantum processors to operate.
Right. And in English?
It's a fridge for our qubits.
Right. And how cold are we talking about?
We approach
It's a
here
fridge.
absolute 10 millikelvin to be precise.
That's what it is. It's a
Which
fridge.
means that parts of our lab are some of the coldest places in the universe.
Wow, colder than Canada?
Yeah, colder than Canada. Colder than Canada. Well, it's not just temperature that's important. In fact, we want to remove all distractions from our qubits.
Right.
Quantum computers
Unwanted
need to be
electrical
colder than
and magnetic
Canada.
signals.
You
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
it here
what's that,
first.
Well, let me show you what the final product looks like.
Is this a cryostat?
No, that's not a cryostat.
What about this? Is this a cryostat?
That's not a cryostat.
No?
This is a cryostat.
Nice.
In fact, this is a fully assembled quantum computer.
Yeah, so where's the keyboard?
Well, there's no keyboard, but it contains everything you've just seen inside and custom control electronics, all of which were designed and
This is a
built by
full
our team.
quantum computer.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
so where's the keyboard?
Is this a Bob Ross? Is he on the team? Tell me he's on the team.
He's not on the team.
Okay.
But this mural is our homage to Mother Nature. See, quantum
Bob
is the
Ross
language
on
of
the
nature,
team?
and we're learning to speak it here.
Did he make
It will enable
this?
us to run precise simulations of the natural world, unlocking answers that would otherwise remain unknown.
Okay, so let me see if I get this right. Okay, so these qubits are really smart.
Quantum
right? They're
computing
really
is
thinking about
very
the work
boring,
environment,
but
so
it
you can
is
put 'em in a lamp, right?
so
But even then, they're
far
like,
ahead of everything
"No,
we
I don't want
have
anybody eating
that
your
it's
Cheetos around me."
just,
And they're like, "I'm sorry,
it's
okay, I
super
know," right?
exciting that
So
we're
then you
getting
gotta
to
wrap
it.
them in like this Bob Ross blanket of love, right? And then you keep them there until they can tell us how to think like the Earth. Am I right?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay, you know what this is? This is the power button. Now I want to
Well,
start it.
we're not quite there yet. I'm glad you're on board.
Okay,
To date, we've reached the first milestone, beyond classical computational capabilities.
this is us.
Yeah, we're here. Everything you've seen here today is what we're using to build to our next milestone, an error-corrected logical qubit.
Right.
And from there, we'll tile thousands of those together to reach our ultimate goal, an error-corrected quantum computer.
Right. That's my goal too.
Well, you're in luck. We're building a team to assemble all the right ingredients, all right here in the Quantum AI campus that you just helped us unveil. So thank you very much.
No, you know what? Thank you, and thank you for everyone that was joining us. I want to leave you with a couple of my favorite words that I just learned. One of them being qubits, cryostat, right? And
My favorite words, qubits,
so
cryostat.
it was a pleasure doing science with you.
His comedic timing is so good.
It was a pleasure doing science with you too, Michael. We recognize that building an error-corrected quantum computer will be incredibly challenging. But solving hard problems and advancing the state of the art is how we
I
build the
mean,
most
again,
helpful
quantum
products.
computing will
At Google, we
literally
know that our
allow us
products
to
can only
solve
be as helpful
things
as
that
they are
we
safe.
can't right
And
now,
advances
like
in computer
calculations
science and AI are
on
how
levels that
continue
we are
to make
nowhere
them better.
near being able to do.
We keep more users
It will
safe
allow,
blocking
quantum computing
malware,
will allow
phishing
us
attempts,
to solve
spam
things
messages,
that are
and
literally
potential cyber
a
attacks
person
than
would take
anyone else.
hundreds
And our focus on
to
data
solve.
minimization
That's
pushes
what
us
quantum
to do
computing
more with
will allow us
2
to do.
years ago at I.O., I announced auto-delete, which encourages users to have their activity data automatically and continuously deleted. We have since made auto-delete the default for all new Google accounts. Now, after 18 months, we automatically delete your data unless you tell us to do it sooner. And this is now active for over 2 billion accounts. All our products are guided
So
by
for any
3
new
common
accounts,
principles.
not the old ones, keep that in
Of
mind.
the world's most
Auto
advanced
delete is
security
by default
infrastructures,
now. It will
our
delete your
products are
search data
secure by
this
default.
past 18 months.
We strictly uphold responsible data practices, so every product we build is private by design. And we create easy-to-use privacy
They're
and
like,
security
what, Apple?
settings so
We can
you
do
are in
privacy
control.
too.
I'd like to invite
Not,
Jen on stage
not as much because
to
they
share some
want
examples
privacy. They want a little
of
less
how we
privacy for
apply these
advertising, but
principles and make every day
different ways
safer
of making
with
money.
Google.
Google Ads does make over billions of dollars every year, so yeah.
Thanks, Sundar.
Okay.
We believe that protecting
Let's see if
your
it starts getting
privacy
interesting.
starts with the world's most advanced security. Seems like every day.
I swear,
we hear
maybe
about
next
another
year I can
cyber
start like
attack
half an
that
hour
puts
later.
Emails and personal data at risk. To keep our users safe, everything we build is secure by default. Each of our products is protected with advanced
I mean, that's a great
AI
line.
-driven
Secure by
technologies.
default. I like that
In
line.
fact, every day, Gmail automatically blocks more than 100 million phishing attempts. Google Photos encrypts 4 billion photos. And Google Play Protect runs security scans on 100 billion installed apps around the world. But the single most common security vulnerability today is still
Passwords.
bad passwords. Consumer research has shown that 2/3 of people admit to using the same password across accounts, which multiplies their risk.
I've changed this over the past year.
mission to
I
create a
am really,
password-free
you know,
future.
having
That's why no
Google
one is doing
generated
more than we are
passwords so
to
that it's a
advance
lot easier to
phone-based
get.
authentication.
And I've made my Google
In the
password
meantime,
more
we're
complex
focused on helping
with two-factor
everyone use
authentication,
strong,
like all the
unique
stuff you
passwords for
should be
every
doing.
account.
I really try to do
Our
for
password
those kind
manager
of things, yeah.
creates, remembers, saves, and autofills passwords for you. It's already used by over 500 million people. But we want to free everyone from password pain. That's why today we're announcing 4 new upgrades that make our password manager more helpful. First,
Okay,
we're making it
let's see
easier
what.
than ever to get started with a simple tool that imports passwords saved in other password managers. Next, we'll have deeper
Ooh,
integration
they just
across
took out
both
LastPass
Chrome
with
and
that.
Android, so your secure passwords go with you from sites to apps.
Passwords are
Third,
why I will always
automatic
use
password
Chrome
alerts
instead
will let
of
you know if you
like
detect any of
Samsung's
your
internet
saved
browser,
passwords
just because
have
it's
become
like
compromised in
I
a
don't have to
third-party
remember my
breach.
passwords if I use Chrome.
And lastly, what I'm especially excited about, a quick fix feature in Chrome, where the assistant will help you navigate directly to your compromised accounts and change your passwords in seconds.
Oh my god, that's so much nicer.
continued investment in our
That is the
password
most
manager
annoying
makes it
part
just
about
one
like
of
when it
many
tells you
ways
you have a
Google
password that
is
could have
the
been
safer
breached,
way to sign into
that
anything online.
basically you're just able to
Another
just
core
click a
principle
button and it
is
will
ensuring that
autofill
each
it.
of our products
That's awesome.
is
That's
private
awesome.
by design. This means continuously making thoughtful
I really like that
decisions
feature. I
about
really like
when,
that.
how,
And you should
and
be
why
securing your
data is used in
passwords,
our
guys.
products,
It's so
including data that's
important.
used for ads.
Like, because
principles drive us
especially
to draw
this year more than
a straight
anything,
line
hacking
between
is at an
what's in
all-time
and what's
high.
out.
I was
we
someone tried to
never
hack me
sell your
earlier this
personal
year, and
information to
luckily I was
anyone.
able to stop it. But I
We
mean,
never
anyone,
use
if
the
they
content
want to, they can
stole in
hack you.
apps like
That's always what I
Gmail,
tell people.
Photos, and Drive for ads purposes. And we never use sensitive information to personalize ads, like health, race, religion, or sexual orientation. It's simply off limits.
Bring back play music. I want to be able to buy music again. I do miss that. Like, I want to be able to buy music, and you can't do that in Google anymore. I've had to buy certain songs on Amazon last year.
Through the Open Source Privacy Sandbox initiative, we're collaborating with publishers, content creators, advertisers, and industry organizations like the W3C to develop new privacy-preserving solutions that will shape the future of online advertising. Making our products private by design also drives us to build groundbreaking computing technologies that enable personalized experiences while protecting your private information. One technology we've been pioneering is differential privacy, which allows us to use large aggregated data sets while guaranteeing that your individual data can never be identified as yours. No one has scaled the use of differential privacy more than we have. To help developers everywhere use differential privacy, we created the world's largest open source library of differentially private algorithms, which has advanced so many important fields, from cancer research to census analytics. Another important technology is federated learning, invented here at Google in 2016. It enables machine learning models to be trained centrally without any raw data leaving your device. And since building it into Gboard and messages, we've saved people countless hours of typing with helpful suggestions. This is just one of the ways
The suggestions are getting better. I feel like they were so generic in the beginning, but they are getting better now.
And on device.
I do notice that every time I go back to my Pixel phone, the replies are very on point more so.
We developed Android's private compute core. It's uniquely open source
I still don't use Google. I still use SwiftKey over Gboard, but I like some of the changes Gboard has made.
Audio data with Google or any other apps. No one else offers this kind of technically enforced, verifiable privacy. And the Android team will be coming up in a bit to share more.
Yes, Android team will be coming soon. I think that's what we're all waiting for. By the way, I don't know what products will actually be announced here. Just as a reminder, phones are usually not announced at Google I/O. Those are typically announced in October. Sometimes they do release them early, but just that's typical. What we could see here is like something like Google Homes or those kind of things, so it's a possibility.
You can find them in your Google account, which saw over 3 billion visits last year.
I would be surprised if we don't see something for Wear OS.
We also know that some controls are most helpful when they're built right into the app, like when we added an incognito mode in Search, Maps, and YouTube. Today, we're announcing a few new controls that you'll see in our most popular apps. For example, people tell us they sometimes wish they could easily
incognito mode on Maps? I feel like that's dangerous.
So now, just tap your profile picture to access your menu and immediately delete recent search history from your account.
Oh wow, delete the last 15 minutes. That's a little shady, I'm not gonna lie. Search for stuff, delete the last 15 minutes. Don't you tell anybody what I'll be doing.
Easily turn off right there in your timeline. And lastly, we're rolling out locked folder in Photos. First on Google Pixels and coming to more Android devices throughout the year. Photos you add to this passcode protected space are saved separately, so they won't.
That is definitely needed, I would say, for a lot of people. So you're gonna have for all your photos that are backed up on Google Photos, you're gonna be able to have a locked folder now. That is really important. I mean, you know, you might have some photos you don't want anybody to see.
There's nothing more important
now,
than keeping you safe online.
You put them in that folder.
Building products that are secure by default, private by design, and that give you control is how we ensure that every day you're safer with Google.
Name it work or something, name it,
Just as we've engineered advanced computing solutions to protect your privacy, we continue to think about future advances in AI.
Not that I've ever had a folder like that at all. No.
Not surprisingly, so much of what we do
back in the days when I was single,
And next, you'll hear more about this from Prabhakar.
Alright, I like the autofill password replacement. That was definitely needed, and definitely was one thing that's lagged me from changing all my old passwords because it's just so many. And also, the privacy folder in Google Photos, I think is a big, important thing that was needed for sure.
Thanks, Jen. Today we are excited to share how our advances in AI are enabling us to understand the world more deeply than ever before, opening up helpful experiences for you across Google Search, Maps, Shopping, and Photos. Let's start with Search. 20 years ago, Google was just 10 blue links, connecting people to the information they needed from the millions of web pages out there. Since then, we've continued to innovate to understand new forms of information.
Man,
images,
looking at old
videos,
Google.
Places, and more. All of this is in pursuit of our mission to make information accessible and useful. As Sundar mentioned, early research with Lambda multimodality is pushing the boundaries of natural language understanding. And today,
monotone, man, it's always
how we'll be bringing some of these research
such a killer
to Google Search with a multitask unified model, or MUM as we like to call it.
MUM, really?
Like BERT,
multitask unified model, MUM.
But it turns up the dial.
How come the picture-in-picture looks so bad? It's because when I've shown it clearly, I've gotten strike and copyright strikes on my channel. So I have to basically do it like this so that I luckily I haven't got strikes since I've done this. But yeah, that's why. I did leave the link in the description though if you wanted to watch that video though at the same time. So I'll leave it a link.
It can train across 75 languages at once.
But I basically
Unlike
turn the
most AI
transparency all the way
models,
down,
which train on
and
one
that way
language at a
YouTube
time.
doesn't flag it
And then,
for
what makes
basically
Mom
watching
even
it.
more amazing is that it's multimodal, which means it can simultaneously understand different forms of information, like text, images, and video. We've already started some internal pilots to see the types of queries it might be able to solve and the billions of topics it might help you explore.
What
Let me
can
show you
Mom
what I
do?
mean. Let's say you're an avid hiker planning your next adventure. You might ask,
Anyone here an avid hiker?
Mount Adams, and now want to hike
I feel like they're
Mount
very
Fuji next
Silicon
fall.
Valley
What should I do
kind
differently
of
to
stuff.
prepare? This is a question you could casually ask a friend, but search engines today can't answer it directly because it's so conversational and nuanced. Mom is changing the game. With its language understanding
Mom is
capabilities,
changing the game.
you would know you're looking to compare two mountains and also understand that prepare could include things like fitness training for the terrain and hiking gear for fall weather. Then, it's able to surface useful insights based on its deep knowledge of the world. Here, it's highlighting that Mount Fuji is roughly the same elevation as Mount Adams.
I mean, I couldn't imagine typing a sentence like that into search. It's just so much context that I feel like, yeah, you're going to get lost.
It would also give you
Mum's
pointers
the
to go
word,
deeper on
but I'm
topics,
bump.
like how to prepare the right gear with articles, videos, and images from across
I like
the
this
web.
layout for like a search. That would be
Now,
really
a huge
cool. It's very
limitation of
like
accessing
informative,
information
in
is the
depth, and
language
everything.
it's
That would be really cool to
There
have.
are insights about Mount Fuji in Japanese. You might not know they exist if you don't search in Japanese. But Mom can transfer language across multiple languages to give you a richer, more comprehensive answer. But it doesn't stop there.
Again, Mom is in internal testing only right now, so I'm not kind of going over it too much because it's like, well, that's great. You know, when we get it, I'll be interested.
Can I use these to hike Mount Fuji? Mom would be able to understand the content of the image and the intent behind your query, let you know that your hiking boots would just work fine, and then point you to a list of recommended
By the
gear
way, guys,
in a Mount
update
Fuji
on
blog.
the helium mining. A little over 2 weeks now. 1,400. If you haven't watched that video, check it out. I'm getting new antennas in today from Amazon, and you're gonna see if they can actually improve what I get per day. So that'll be interesting. I'm gonna test it out and review that. By the way, I'm gonna do a review after a month. Would you want to see a 2-week update on that kind of stuff, or just once a month would be fine? Let me know.
Right from your search bar.
I'm really going to be interested once I get another hotspot and then see how much you can earn off of 2.
This translation feature has been especially useful for students, many of whom might be learning.
Really? I've never used Google Translate in my lens.
So now, thanks to our Lens team in Zurich, we're rolling out a new capability.
Like if I travel, I'm sure I would. Maybe that's why.
Translation with educational content from the web to help people learn in more than 100 languages. For instance, you can easily snap a photo of a science problem, and Lens will provide.
I remember the
learning
last time I
resources
used Google
in your
Lens to
preferred
translate, it was a
language.
menu
Let's take a
in
look at how a
Barcelona,
student in Indonesia
and I thought that was
is
pretty
using
cool.
this new feature.
Nama aku Siti Lutisa, dipanggil Mamai. Aku kelas 9 SMP. Dulunya aku
Yeah, do more
menjadi
crypto
ahli
videos?
bahasa
Okay.
Dan seorang dosen bahasa Inggris. Tapi kegiatan belajar di masa pandemi ini
2 weeks
untuk
sounds
aku
good,
sendiri
okay.
agak lebih susah.
It'll give me another video to do too,
Orang
so I
tuaku
like
juga
that.
tidak bisa bahasa Inggris. Jadi, mereka tidak bisa bantu aku kalau kesulitan.
Dia tanya ke orang, ibu kurang paham.
Google Lens memudahkan kegiatan belajar di rumah. Misalnya aku mendapat tugas pelajaran matematik yang bertuliskan bahasa Inggris. Gak hanya translate, dari situ aku juga bisa terhubung dan langsung mencari tahu apa terjemahan dan solusi untuk mengerjakan pelajaran matematika itu.
See, that's how they be cheating. That's how they be cheating.
Untuk saat ini
Percent.
aku sedang berusaha keras untuk belajar lebih tekun, lebih rajin. Saya mau menggunakan pengetahuan saya untuk membantu masyarakat. Saya mau jadi anak yang membanggakan orang tua.
You always gotta admire determination like this.
Ya,
It's so
senang. Ibu senang sekali
inspiring.
belajar tidak pantang menyerah gitu.
It's always inspiring to see stories like Mamai's. And it brings to life the power of visual information.
I learned Spanish. I don't need to translate. Those basically are the must-have languages to have down. English and Spanish, I would say, are the two most prominent ones in the U.S. for sure. Korean is another one, and Mandarin is another one. But yeah, I think the most global one is still English for sure. Just because no matter what country you're born in, usually English is the recommended second language. Like, I actually don't like that they in high schools in the US, I don't know if French and other languages should still be like a language, French specifically, or like, you know, Latin. I feel like in high schools it should either be Spanish or Mandarin or I forget what Korean specifically, but yeah, so those are the ones that I would recommend, like, because either in the business world or in local terrain, I would say is such a priority.
Okay, Simone Biles in 3D.
And then you're gonna view in your space.
You gotta scan the floor. Let's scan the area. Ooh, and she's here. Oh my gosh. She goes for the triple-double.
That'd be so crazy, seeing yourself as a character
I see all the
in
details that I need to get
something,
back
so
in
that's
the
cool.
gym and work on. Nails it. That one, yeah. Simone Biles double-double dismount. Pops up anywhere.
Wow, look at that.
Let's turn her so we can see it from the front.
It sounds just like you're in the arena.
Go down to 5%, little one.
Oh,
There she is.
it's Nancy Biles. That's the smallest triple I've ever seen.
We need to start competing in AR. It's much simpler. Saves the nerves.
When are they going to talk about Android? That's supposed to be coming up. The privacy lady said that Android was coming up. There's a little AR stuff right there. Just had some Spanish friends and boom, yeah, for sure. Well, it's like when we were traveling, you know, and I was in Barcelona, I would do all the Spanish speaking for my wife. Like, it would just be that easy, you know.
The world is constantly changing. Getting access to reliable information is particularly critical during times like the pandemic or breaking news. It's in these moments and so many others that people turn to Google. At our foundation, we design our ranking systems to prioritize high-quality content. And for critical topics like COVID, we elevate information
Let's see
from
what's
expert
next.
sources. People come to Google to evaluate claims they've heard, whether that's in conversations with friends or something they read about online. Over the
Yeah,
past year,
I would always do that. When I would see an article that I was like, is this real? Is this, you know, fake on like social media?
and that's saying something.
Type it in on Google and it'll tell you all the background stuff typically. Like, actually it comes from this, and this is where it came from, this is where it originated, and then you're just more knowledgeable on the subject. That's the biggest thing I don't like to talk about a subject unless I know a lot about it. And when I don't do that, I feel like I get burned. Like when I talked about the Xbox One S payment program, it actually was better than I thought it was in the video. And it's just, again, I didn't do as much research as I should have, and that's always what I don't like to do. I don't like to do videos like that unless I know more about it. Ricky, are you a fan of Sundar Pichai? Do you like him as CEO? I don't know what his stamp on Google has really been. I guess is my biggest thing, you know. We had Eric, we've had Larry Page, we've had these kind of ones. But I don't know what Sundar Pichai has especially focused on or improved upon with Google. I would say AI learning is probably the thing that he's done, or that Google has done most since he's come aboard, so maybe that was his specialty. But yeah, I'm
When
not
we
sure
understand
exactly
information,
what
we
exactly
can make
he's
it more
focused on.
helpful to you, whether that be information
Other
on
than
the
that, I
web,
mean, but
from
the
your camera,
AI seems to
or from the
be
billions
the
of places in
biggest
the
thing that I've
physical
seen
world.
Google
And to
do
hear
since he's come
more
aboard.
about how AI is
Unfortunately, I
powering
will
our
say
most
products have
powerful
been
map
mixed.
ever,
I mean,
here's
the
Lens.
entry-level products like the 3A, 4A, and soon to be 5A are the big things that are so well done. But the Pixel phones, like, they had a big notch on the 4XL. On the it took them till the 5 to get the wide-angle lens instead of the telephoto lens. So there was things that they really needed to do that they didn't do right the first time. But luckily, I will say that they do listen on the next iteration, usually always.
More than 100 AI-driven improvements to give people richer and more contextual information about the world around them. Let me share
100
just a
AI
few
improvements on
examples.
maps. Hey, that's
We've seen how
for
helpful
sure really
AR
cool.
can be to see how athletes perform their most impressive feats. 3 years ago, with Live View in Google Maps, we were the
Wouldn't
first
you be
ones
hot in
to
that
use
jacket? I'm
AR
just
at
hot
scale.
looking at her in
Now
this
see
sweater
years ago,
thing.
with signs and arrows overlaid on the real world.
Has anyone ever used that? I have
Today,
used it when
we're
I've been
still
in
the
a
only
downtown
company
area.
putting
Like
AR
I was in,
navigation in maps.
was it Houston? I think
from
was the
big
last
cities to
city I
rural
traveled
towns.
to, where I was like, wait,
So
what the
far,
hell?
though,
So I was using
Live View has
that
been
to
focused on
navigate, and I would just like,
navigation to help
I'd put
you
it down when I
gain
wouldn't need
more
it,
point A
and
to
then
point
I would
B.
just bring it up again. I'm like, okay, am I
But
going the
now
right
you
way?
can also
And it was
use
just a
it to
cool
explore the
way to
world around you.
navigate through a downtown
You'll be
area
able
specifically.
to access Live View right from the map and instantly see details about the shops and the restaurants around you, including
that's
how
smart.
busy they are, recent reviews, and photos of those popular
What's your
dishes.
thoughts on the Pixel phones? Have you seen
is
leaks of the
possible
Pixel
because we
6? What are your
match what
thoughts on
your
these?
camera sees.
Yeah, I checked. We had a sneak
Businesses
preview
sharing
basically of the
rich
Pixel 6
information
and
on
kind of
Google
showing
Maps.
it. Samsung is making
In
the
addition,
Pixel
there are a
phones this
host of
year.
new
That's the
features
big
coming to Live View
drop
later
that
this
we
year.
did on our
First,
video that
we're
no
adding
one else knew.
prominent virtual street signs that
That
help you
again,
navigate
Samsung
those
was making the
complex
Pixel phones this year. It ended up being cheaper for them. What my
Second,
inside people have
we'll
told me
point you towards key
to do
landmarks
than
and places that are important
doing
to you,
HTC,
like the
which is
direction
what
of
they've
your
normally
hotel.
done because of all the chip shortages and everything like that. It
Third,
just
we'll
made it
bring you
easier.
indoors
So that's
to
big
help you
because
get
of the
around
camera
some of
sensors,
the
and that's why you have a
hardest to
huge
navigate
camera sensor
buildings,
bump on the Pixel
like
6.
airports,
The
transit
exciting thing about the
stations,
Pixel
and
6
malls.
Pro is that it does have all 3
Indoor
cameras,
Live View will start
and
rolling out
that it's
in
going to have
top
bigger
train stations,
sensors,
airports,
which
and
will be
Zurich this
huge for
week,
Google.
and will
So that's
come
going to be really
Tokyo
huge.
next
I
month.
don't think we'll see those here. I'd be shocked if they're announced already, because usually, again, Google phones
But
don't come
AR
out
isn't
till
the only
later
way
in the
we're
year,
bringing a whole new level of
around
richness to Google Maps.
anywhere between August and
We've
October.
heard from many of you that
So I
you'd
would be
like to have
shocked
more
if we get them
granular
early.
information about your
I think this
surroundings.
is going to be more
That's
Android
why we're
12
bringing you the most
announcement
detailed heat
and
maps we've
possibly
ever made.
some Nest
Take this image of
devices
Columbus
maybe.
Circle,
Like,
one of the
I
most
really don't
complicated
understand
intersections
why
in Manhattan.
Google, I get the privacy
You can
thing,
now see where
but
the
Google needs to make a
sidewalks,
small
the
Google or
crosswalks,
Nest
the
Home
pedestrian
with a
islands are.
camera.
Something
Like,
that might be
their
incredibly
second
helpful
generation
if
still
you're
doesn't have a
taking young
camera,
children
and
out on a
like,
walk, or absolutely essential
how do you
if you're
expect
using a
video
wheelchair.
calling to take off if you don't have
Thanks
that?
to our application of
Like,
advanced AI
it
technology,
only is on the
unrobust
biggest
trade
one,
view
and
aerial
on
imagery,
the
we're on
third
track
party
to launch
ones like
details
JBL and
50
Lenovo and
new
those,
cities by the
but
end
they
of the
haven't
year.
made any new ones in a while too. So it's just
Having
like
access to rich
we
information is useful, but it can also
video
become
calling
overwhelming.
is more
We're
prevalent
making the
on
map more
Amazon's
dynamic and more
Echoes
tailored,
because every single one of them has a
highlighting the most
camera.
relevant
I get there's a
information
privacy
exactly
concern,
when
but just
you
put a
need it.
switch on there, a
At 3
manual
a.m. on a
switch,
weekday,
and you're
we'll display
good.
the coffee shops and bakeries more prominently in the map. While at 5 p.m., we'll highlight the dinner restaurants that match your tastes. You
I
can
mean,
see
that
which
just makes
places
sense.
you've been to and get
Highlight
more
what
suggestions
time
of
of
similar
day,
spots
like
with just a
if
single
it's
tap.
in the morning at 8 a.m., I'm not going to
If
be
you're in a
looking
new
for
city,
a
we'll make it
dessert
easier to
probably.
find those local
You know, that's
landmarks
probably
and
what I'm going to be
tourist
looking in the
attractions
morning.
right on the map. You'll start seeing this more tailored map in the coming
Thanks
weeks.
for the response, bro. I won't.
And as you're planning your day,
I know they won't be announced
found
yet
it
about
really
October,
useful,
September. I think, yeah,
especially
for
during
sure.
this pandemic, to see how busy a place is before heading out. Now we're expanding this capability from specific places, like restaurants and shops, to neighborhoods with a feature called area busyness. Say you're in Rome.
That's
and wanna
interesting.
head over to the
Area
Spanish Steps
business is
and
kind
its
of
nearby
cool.
shops.
And again, that is by tracking it. You
Area
have to
busyness
understand when
gives
they
you
have
an
so
understand
many
at a
things
glance
using
if
Google
it's the
Maps,
right time
they're
for
able
you
to
go,
tell how many people are in an
based on
area.
how
That's a
busy that
form
part
of
the city is
tracking
in real
that I
time.
feel people might be like, oh no, don't track me. But it's really useful if that is on every phone, so you can know, like, okay, this area is really busy right now. I'm going to avoid it.
Globally in the coming months. So So that was a lot.
But I like that for restaurants too, because how many times do you like, oh, let's go to this restaurant and there's an hour wait. I would have gone to another restaurant if I would have known there was an hour wait here. So that kind of stuff is really, I think, really important. Yes, you can call, of course, and all that, but sometimes you're just like, oh yeah, let's go there, and you don't think of calling first.
16 years to build the world's most helpful map for people everywhere. That means
I mean, obviously, I don't think Apple Maps, Bing Maps, and nothing is close to Google Maps still, just like so far away.
50 million local guides. And finally,
Their satellite stuff has over 100 billion buildings now.
So
It's
you can
insane.
have the most accurate, comprehensive, and detailed map wherever you live in the world on any device, Android or iOS.
You know, it's kind of crazy if they ever make a video game and they use Google Maps 3D satellites. Like, I don't know if you remember, there was a game before called, I think it was called True Crime LA, if I want to say that was it, where it accurately had every street. So like if you turned on, just I'm thinking of my old home, if I was on Venice Boulevard, I would see either Sepulveda and Satel would be the next street over in the game, because that's how it is in real life. I thought that was really cool, and like seeing something expand off of that, something like Google Maps would be really interesting to have a satellite view, and that's what is in the game.
And we're constantly working to make that experience better, whether you're browsing for inspiration or ready to buy. Now,
this is what Amazon's worried about, Google getting more into shopping with their search results.
Many of you are familiar with our knowledge graph.
I mean, it's happened on YouTube, right? Like I can, when I'm uploading a video, while it uploads, which takes some time sometimes, right? It'll ask me, are there any products you want to highlight? Those products are using Google Shopping. So if the manufacturer, like SanDisk or Samsung or whatever, puts their product on Google Shopping, I will add it to it because, oh, that's a convenient way for people to look for it. So that way they can just, you guys can click it and like, oh, these are the products on here. So this is again what Amazon is very afraid of, Google getting more into. 24 billion lists.
And giving you just as much or more choice in the digital world as you have in the physical world. The best part is that the shopping graph spans across Google, making it easier to go from inspiration to purchase, no matter where you are. Let's see how this comes to life across shopping moments, from Lens to search, photos, YouTube, and Chrome.
YouTube's on there,
As
of
we
course.
all know, shopping inspiration often strikes when we see something we like in the world around us. And for these moments, Google Lens is awesome. It turns the world into your own personal showroom. For example,
it's funny, Amazon came up with this first. It was called Amazon Flow. And so what Google is now introducing here is basically if you have Google Lens, you can open it up, point it towards the product. Like I could point it towards my Lumix camera right here, and it will show this is what the product is, or this is similar products to it. So smart that they have it more built in now.
Thanks to the shopping graph,
but
we
yeah.
can explore options from across the web to find what we liked, see that it was in stock, and check out what the retail.
Yeah, it's a smart feature. Again, Amazon started it. I think Amazon had it like 4 or 5 years ago when they introduced Amazon Flow. It was its own separate app, and then it became part of the regular Amazon app.
Now, to solve for this, when you view any screenshots in Google Photos, there'll be a suggestion to search the photo with Lens. You'll see organic search results that can help you find that pair of shoes or browse similar styles.
That's kind of cool, search screenshots. If you think about it, if you take a screenshot of a celebrity or something or whatever, and you can kind of see where their shirt is. And yeah, that's YouTube, the thing that I have that basically allows me to put products in there. That's a more upfront version of showing it, which is still, it's currently not like that, so that looks like the new look that they're going to implement.
Soon on Chrome, when you open a new tab, you'll be able to see your open carts from the past couple of weeks. For example, I'm reminded that I've still got a shirt in my Tentree cart
That's interesting.
and a few things in my Lowe's cart. We'll also find you promotions and discounts for your.
I mean, companies will usually email you, right? If it's called abandoned cart. If you abandon your cart, companies will usually email you for that.
Your personal information and what's in your carts are never
That's
shared
pretty
with
cool.
anyone
The fact that
externally without your
they'll
permission.
tell you, hey, you still have something in
Now,
your cart,
once you're done
and if
researching
you
and
buy
ready
it
to
now,
buy,
they're giving
we
you a
also wanna help
10%
you get the most
coupon.
value.
That's pretty cool, because that's
Coming
something
soon,
normally that a
use your
pop-up
favorite
does.
loyalty
Like, hey,
programs
wait,
for
don't
merchants
go.
like
Give us your
Sephora and
email, and
Target
we'll give you
to show
10%
you
off,
the best
15% off,
purchase
$15 off, whatever
In
it
this
is.
example, since you're a Sephora Beauty Insider,
So this is
you
just kind of
already
built in,
qualify
makes
for a
it easier.
promotion. And if you're not ready to buy, you can opt in for price drop notifications. Taking a step back, these
Ooh,
experiences
they're
are
going
only
after
possible
honey with
because
that
of a
one.
vibrant community of
So
retailers
now
on
you will be
Google.
you will be
We're
notified
proud to take
from
an open
Google
ecosystem
if
approach that
something does
helps
a price
any
drop
merchant,
if you
both
select
big
the price
and
drop.
small,
That is
get
why
discovered.
I use things like
And that
Honey
gives you
and
more shopping
Rakuten.
choices.
Honey is the best
This
at
is
this
more
by
important
far
than ever
as a
in what's been a
plugin.
tough time
That
for
basically
businesses.
it will
That's
you put
why
something on a
this
drop
past
list
year,
for 60
we
days,
accelerated our
and it
plans
will
and made
tell
it
you
free
if
for
the
merchants
product
to
is
sell their
lowered. I
products
always do that
across
because I'm
Google.
like, this
Since
product isn't
then,
on sale
we've
right
seen
now.
an
Let me put it on
80%
Honey,
increase in merchants on Google,
and see
with
if
the
it
vast
drops.
majority being small and medium-sized businesses.
So
And
yeah,
today,
that's pretty interesting.
we're making it easier than ever
It'd be
for
cool if they
merchants of all
announced
sizes
they are
to
bringing
get on
back
Google.
saving feature for
Together with
vids and
Shopify,
pics and Google
we're excited
Photos.
to launch a seamless integration so that the more than 1.7 million merchants on Shopify can reach more consumers in a matter of minutes. With just a few clicks,
Ooh, they're
these
partnering with
retailers can
Shopify.
sign up to appear across Google's 1 billion shopping journeys each day. From search to maps, images to Lens and YouTube.
That's
We believe
big.
you deserve the most choice available, and will continue
That's
to
what I
innovate
built
on
my
shopping
new store
along
off of,
every step the way.
Shopify.
So far, you've heard many of the ways we're using AI to make information more useful for you.
I know in July
AI can
that
also
feature's
help us
going
revisit our
away
favorite
for
memories
Google
and
Photos.
moments,
No, not July,
especially
June
this past year,
1st.
when many of us have been feeling
June 1st. So
nostalgic.
we are literally
To talk about new
12 days
innovations in Google
away
Photos,
from
here's
it being
Shimmery.
disappeared. 12 days away from Google Photos being gone, their unlimited photos.
It's great to be back on campus, talking with you all about.
It's funny because I'm backing up every photo I've ever taken from my old computers right now, and I'm uploading it all to Google Photos before the 1st, just so all those will be permanently backed up on my unlimited data.
Photos and videos stored in Google Photos. But having so
Think
many
they'll announce
photos
Pixel Watch today?
of loved
I don't. I think we'll get new Wear OS stuff, but I don't know if we'll get a Pixel Watch yet. I don't know if we're gonna have a Pixel Watch because, again, because of the partnership with Samsung, Samsung's two new watches, the Galaxy Watch 4 and the Galaxy Watch Active 4 Active, are both Wear OS. So I don't think Google's gonna make one better than that. So I think the image that we saw with the Pixel 6, I don't know if it was a Pixel Watch. It could be, or it could be easily a Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 Active.
Little patterns show the magic in everyday moments by identifying not so obvious moments.
We're still not on Android, keep in mind, guys. These are just all things they're adding to other services right now.
I'll show you how this works. This feature uses
what's
machine
little
learning
patterns?
to translate photos into a series of numbers, and then compares how visually or conceptually similar these images are. When we find a set of 3 or more photos with similarities such as shape or color, we'll surface them as a pattern. When we started testing little patterns, we saw some great stories come to life. Like how one of our engineers traveled the world with their favorite orange backpack. Or how our product manager, Christy, had a habit of capturing objects of similar shape and color.
I mean, I think it's all interesting when we see those things, right? When you see, like, hey, this kind of stuff. Like, I just got one today of images of my wife and my son. It was like, hey, here's images of them and him. And you can kind of see throughout the past year all the images I've, not all the images, but like, I think it was like 10 images that I've taken of them that showed up. And I think we all kind of like that. I think that most people could agree that they like that. These white hairs, man.
In addition to using machine
Mess up my
learning to
shots.
better curate your memories, we also want to bring these moments to life with cutting-edge effects. Last year, we launched
I do like the
cinematic photos
animation
to help you
ones.
relive your
Those
memories in a more
cinematic
vivid
photos are
way.
pretty cool. I will say that.
I want to show
Dang,
you
do I
how
have
we're
that
building
one?
on this feature with computational photography to make
It's
still
it's
photos
it's kind of
even
messed
more
up,
immersive.
but this was one of
When we take a
my
photo, most of us
son
actually
crying
take
in my
2 to 3
daughter's
photos of the same
arms, and
shot,
it's like it
just to
comes
make
up,
sure we
and
get
it's
the
like a
right one.
cool. That I thought that
Any
really
parent
was
who
a
tries to
cool
get
kind
all
of
their kids
concept
smiling and
because you can
looking at
like
the
see
camera
it
at the same
moving
time will know
as
what I
it goes
mean.
up. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Cinematic
I was
moments
like,
will
oh,
take these near
my
duplicate
kids.
images and use neural networks to synthesize the movement between image A and image B. We interpolate the photos and
Whoa,
fill in the gaps by
Biggs.
creating new frames.
Thank
The
you so
end
much for
result
that
is a
super
vivid,
chat
moving
donation, man.
picture.
Wow.
And the cool thing about this
Yeah,
effect
thank you.
is
If
it can
again,
work on
if you
any
have
pair
any
of
questions,
images,
if you have anything,
whether
thank
they
you.
were
I know you
captured on
always support the
Android,
channel
iOS,
so
or
much.
scanned from a photo
Thank you
album.
so much for that super chat donation.
Creating this effect from scratch would take professional animators
Damn it, I haven't checked out
but by applying machine learning,
John
we
P's
can
video
automatically
yet,
bring
so I
this
don't know how to say his last name. I'm
experience
just going
right
to call
to
him
your
John
gallery.
P, all right?
And we know
Did
that looking
some
back is never a
Pixel Watch leaks
one-size-fits-all
based on
solution.
the live photos
It's
he
more
got.
meaningful when you
Not
can
sure
look back on
what to think
content
about it
that's
actually. Yeah,
personalized to
so
you.
yeah.
So later this year, you'll see new types of memories that are relevant to the moments you celebrate, whether that's Diwali, Lunar New Year, or something
Oh,
else.
that's cool. Get some like
For
more
me,
holiday
my
stuff.
family
You can even have
celebrates
Memorial Day,
Hanukkah,
like stuff,
so
Memorial
I
Day
can look
weekend or
back
something
on
like
a
that.
collection of Hanukkah moments right in my photo grid. In addition to providing personalized content to look
They're making a
back on,
lot of
we
improvement to
also
Google
want to give you more
Photos now that they've
control.
taken away all our unlimited photos. I'm
We
just
heard from you
saying.
that controls can be helpful for anyone who has been through a tough life event, breakup, or loss. Specifically, we heard from the transgender community that resurfacing certain photos can be painful. So we are working directly with our partners at GLAD and listening to feedback to understand how we can make reminiscing more inclusive. These insights inspired us to give you the control to hide photos of certain people or time periods from our Memories feature.
That's good. Hiding photos of certain people are very good because, like, what if you have an ex in there that you don't want anyone, like, oh, damn, I don't want that to come up on a search. Like, you know, if I'm searching with, like, a home and they happen to be in a house. So, yeah, that's really good that, like, you need to be able to hide people. That's a good one.
Patterns, rediscover meaningful memories, or immerse yourself in a cinematic moment. And you can do it all on your own terms with new controls. Looking back is an important part of the human experience, which is why Google Photos is making it easier than ever to relive your memories. Thank you.
That's a good one. That is the best thing I've heard so far today. Being able to hide certain people in your Google Photos.
I'm really excited by the progress we are making with AI.
Will they announce the Pixel 6? I don't believe so. I don't think we're going to get the Pixel 6 today.
Understanding of information.
I kind of wish Google and other companies would leave Apple and iOS out of new features. Apple doesn't care about their products and products work with theirs. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like Apple's so inclusive. Like Google will just kind of like, you know, allow people to use their stuff. But Apple's a walled garden, as they say. Okay, we're finally gonna start with Android. I didn't hear who he said. Hey, look, it's a walled garden. Ba-dum-bum.
From the beginning, design has made computers more helpful by making them easier to use, more personal. In 2014, we introduced material design to address the explosion of mobile phones. It set a new standard for Android apps, and for Google, it
All right, looks like we're talking about design with Android 12.
Beautifully. But today, the challenge is even bigger. Now we're at a moment where computers are showing up in places that we never imagined. It's also a moment where people are yearning to express their individuality and demanding control from their technology.
Is that him in the photo?
We believe this is a challenge for the whole industry. to acknowledge that emotion is essential and that beauty is personal. To face this challenge, we had to question everything. Instead of form following function, what if form followed feeling? Instead of Google Blue, we imagined Material U, a new design that includes you as a co-creator, letting you transform the look and feel of all your apps by generating personal material palettes that mix color science with a designer's eye. And
do we get to do all the colors, or is this just pre-selected colors? So you're basically going to have your own swabs, or swab, what do they call that? Basically for all of your apps.
Adapt comfortably every place you go.
Oh.
A new design that
that's
never
pretty cool.
compromises on accessibility.
So it will go to all of your devices. So my Google Homes, my watches, my Google TV will all be that same color. That's pretty cool.
Every need. No longer defaulting to one size fits all, Material U is a radical new way to think about design. We invested years into advancing UI engineering, making it possible for any app, not just Google's, to blend in their users' styles.
That's really impressive too, because if they're basically baking this into Android, anyone can change their colors for any app they develop.
Is terrifying. But that leap of faith is revolutionizing design across Google. For the first time, we can consider the details of devices together with the pixels on their screens. We unify everything that Google makes through common proportions, textures, and shapes. We give you tasteful choices, blending into your homes and complementing your wardrobes. More than choice, we uniquely tailor your Google products for the perfect fit. Beyond light and dark, a mode for every mood. These selections can travel
beyond just light and dark modes.
Every app and
hey, I'm fine with dark mode, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm matte black, all of that stuff. Maybe a little bit of green in there.
All of your favorite Google apps. And over the following year,
so basically, it's a fancy way of saying themes. Yeah, it really is. But the theme is kind of like
and all of Google's products.
Not only on your phone, I think that's the biggest thing, is like your theme is now going to be on your Google Home, on your tablet, on everything, essentially. So it's a universal theme, essentially.
Next are the details of Android 12. Beyond the redesigned widgets and your material palette, Samir will show you our most personal OS ever.
Alright, this is a video that Johnny P leaked, basically. Yep, the exact video. Interesting new shapes they have going on. I still think squarical is the perfect shape. You know, it's what Samsung pioneered, and it's what kind of I think is still the best to date. That's on your home screen. That's kind of a weird widget. Samer. Oh, this is his name. Samir. Sorry.
Hi everyone.
I thought it was saying Samer Smart for a second.
What you just saw was a peek into the biggest design change to Android in years, and we're going to go through all of it. But first, I wanted to share some exciting news with you. Just this week, we crossed an amazing milestone. There are now 3 billion active Android devices around the world.
3 billion Android devices. This is why they need to put Google Find things like, and it would dwarf Apple. It would dwarf Apple so far.
There are 3 big themes that we're focused on. First, smartphones are deeply
and partnering with Samsung, SmartThings can do it. So,
you,
SmartThings already works with all Windows devices now opened in the future.
To keep your personal information safe, the OS should be secure by default and private by design.
And third,
All right, so
we want all
personalized,
of your devices,
privacy.
TVs, cars, watches, and more to work better together with your phone at the center.
And ecosystem.
I'm excited to show you more. So let's
Those
start
are the three
by
things that
taking a
Android
look
12
at our
is supposed to
new
bring.
UI for Android. We've overhauled everything from the lock screen to system settings, revamping the way we use color, shapes, light,
I
and
like those
motion,
new system settings. That's
inspired
pretty
by
cool.
Material U. Let me show you what we've done with color.
The other stuff is kind of whatever.
We've got
The system
something new
settings is a
planned for
really
Google
cool
Pixel,
design.
using what we call color
I want to
abstraction.
be able to have more,
Think of
I
it
would
as
say,
one part art and
but
one
I
part
like it.
science. Watch what happens when the wallpaper changes. Like if I use this picture of my kids actually getting along for once. I set it as my background, and voila! The system creates a custom palette based on the colors in my photo.
Did that really change? I didn't feel like that changed.
We use a clustering algorithm with material color targets to determine which colors are dominant, which ones are complementary, and which ones just look great together. It then applies hues across different parts of the interface.
That would be kind of iffy though, because
other
I
words,
want my theme to be
going to be
mostly
beautiful.
black, basically, or dark
result
theme,
is a one-of-a-kind
essentially. So I don't
design
want you messing
just
with
for
it
you.
too much.
And you'll see
But
it first on Google
interesting.
Pixel in the fall. But this new UI is more than
Google
a
Pixel in the
visual
fall.
redesign.
So
Many
again,
interactions have
that's
been
when
simplified,
usually
and
the next
system
version of
spaces
Android comes
purposefully
out
reimagined.
into old Pixels
Starting from the
around
lock
August.
screen, the design is more playful with dynamic lighting. Pick up your phone and it lights up from the bottom of your screen. Press the power button to wake up the phone instead, and the light ripples out from your touch. Even the clock is in tune with you. When you don't have any notifications, it appears larger on the lock screen, so you know you're all caught up. The notification shade is more
Okay,
intuitive.
that's kind of
with a
nice.
crisp,
If you
at-a-glance
don't have
feel
any
for your app
notifications, then the clock is
notifications,
bigger. The
whatever
clock
you're
gets smaller
currently
though if you get
listening to or
notifications.
watching, and quick settings that give you control over the OS with just a swipe and a tap. The quick setting space doesn't just look and feel different. It's been redesigned to include Google Pay and home controls.
I don't know if I want them that big though, because then it's like, you know, I like my settings. Like I can have a lot more on here this way than what he just showed. You know, it was only this many. I've double that. So
Our engineers have done some pretty amazing work on performance in Android 12 to make all the motion and animation in the UI super smooth. We greatly reduced lock contention in key system services such as Activity, Window, and Package Manager. And the team also reduced the CPU time of Android's system server by a whopping 22%. Basically, everything's faster. There's a lot to explore
that's
in
good.
this new design.
Faster's
and
always
I can't
good.
wait for you all to try it out. Now, the design isn't the only part of the device that's personal. Our phones hold so much important information, and it's critical to keep it private and secure. To tell you more about that, let me hand it off to Suzanne.
all right, now the privacy and security part of Android. Let's see what they've changed.
From our first device to 3 billion today, we've designed security and privacy for everyone, no matter how expensive their device is. We built game-changing capabilities for everyone, from file-based encryption to TLS by default and secure DNS to prevent traffic tampering and data breaches. And since 2017, Google Pixel and Samsung Galaxy have continually received the highest security rating in Gartner's annual mobile OS comparison.
That was a big partnership right there. They said
Simply
Google
put,
Pixel and Samsung
most
Galaxy
secure devices
didn't
run
mention
on
anybody else, but
with
both
Android
those
12,
two were
we're going
mentioned.
even
That's pretty
further to keep
interesting.
your information safe. Let's start with a common experience: granting an app access to sensitive information. Turn-by-turn directions based on your precise location are really helpful, but we recognize that this access can also raise privacy questions. To give people more transparency and control, we've created a new privacy dashboard that shows you what type of data was accessed and when. This dashboard reports on all the apps on your phone, including all of your Google apps.
And we've made it really easy to revoke an app's permission directly from the dashboard. We've also added an indicator to make it clear when an app is using your camera or microphone. But let's take that a step further.
So they added that same indicator that Apple has had. You can get that with third parties right now. So yeah.
We've added 2 new
But now it's
toggles
just
and
going to be
quick
built in.
settings, so you can completely disable those sensors for every app. So those are a few examples
That's
of
interesting.
privacy you can immediately see. We're excited to share more on
So you can
other
universally
privacy.
block your
Privacy is
microphone
baked into the
or
heart
block
of
your
Android.
camera now.
As machine vision,
On everything.
speech recognition, and AI become increasingly beneficial, there are even more opportunities for the OS to be helpful. And to make it easier for everyone to embrace these new innovations, we're combining cutting-edge features with powerful privacy. You heard Jen talk about the ways we're building private by design technology. Thanks to advances here with Android's private compute core, we're
Playing
able to introduce
Samsung
new
and Pixel
features
Samsung
using
confirmed,
our
yeah.
unique AI capabilities while still keeping your personal information safe, private, and local to your phone.
Okay.
Android's private compute core enables things like Now Playing, which tells you what song is playing in the background, and Smart Reply,
Yes, it's
which
been around
suggests
for many years.
responses to your chats based on your personal reply patterns. And there's
Yes,
more
that
to come
we got
later
that 2
this
years or
year.
3 years ago, I think.
And by the way, all of the sensitive audio and language processing happens exclusively on your device. It's isolated from the network to preserve your privacy. And like the rest of Android, Private Compute Core is open source. It's fully inspectable and verifiable by the security community. Android is the first commercial mobile operating system to enable technically enforced privacy like this. And this is just one of the ways we'll continue to pioneer innovation.
They're like,
while
what,
also
Apple? We
maintaining
got
the
more
highest
privacy than you could ever
standards of
have.
Privacy, security, and safety. And there's a whole lot more for privacy and security in Android 12, which you can hear about in our What's New in Android Privacy session later today. Now I'll hand it back to Samir to talk about how we're building for a multi-device world.
Okay, so now the ecosystem, this is the last pillar of Android 12. And see what they have to show.
Thanks, Suzanne. Phones have become the center of our digital lives. And they interact
I mean,
with a
I
ton
would
of other
love for
devices we
things
use
to
on a
just
day-to-day basis.
auto load
Laptops,
how I have
TVs,
them
cars,
previously,
and more.
right? Like, there's nothing like
next
Smart
chapter of
Switch on Android
is
still,
focused on
that where it will
and
bring over
helpful experiences
everything,
across all
like
the devices
your
that are connected
lock
to
screen, your
phone,
wallpapers,
so that
exactly how you had your
everything
last
just works
phone.
better
There's
together.
still nothing as good as that.
Let's start by looking at how
So
your
maybe it's something
phone
like that.
works with your Chromebook. With a single tap, you can unlock and sign into your Chromebook when your phone is nearby. Incoming chat notifications from apps on your phone are right there in Chrome OS. And soon, if you want to share a picture, one click and you can access your phone's most recent photos. As
That's
another
really
simple
cool.
example, let's talk about your TV
Most recent
remote.
photos typically is
If
what you
your
want to
phone is
transfer
like
over,
mine,
so that would
the
be really
remote
cool.
is
I wonder if you
missing
can do
like
video though as
50%
well.
of the time. To keep movie night on track, we're building TV remote features directly into your phone. You can use voice search or even type with your phone's keyboard. It's effortless.
That is
For the
needed
more than
for sure
80
always.
million devices using Android TV OS, this will work right out of the box. And we want all of your smart devices to work together, not just those in your home, even your car. In fact, Android Auto is available in more than 100
Android Auto update.
million cars. And the vast majority of new
Did not
vehicles
think of
from
that one,
beloved
actually.
brands like Ford, GM, Honda, and more will support Android Auto wireless. No more cords. We're also really excited to introduce support for digital car key. Car key will allow you to lock, unlock, and start your car, all from your phone. It works with NFC and ultra-wideband technology, making it super secure and easy to use. Just
all cars are gonna get this eventually, I feel like. So yeah, that's smart. The ultra wideband built in and NFC are two big things to make it easy. I mean, you can basically just tap your car and then bam, it unlocks. That's really easy.
Samsung Galaxy smartphones, and we're working with BMW and others across the industry to bring it
Again,
to their upcoming
Google
cars.
Pixel and Samsung Galaxy smartphones. It is really turning into these two, and that's it. That's the third time I think we've heard that combination now.
Android 12 beta. Today,
TV remote features on a phone, IR Blaster return. I think they're doing it without the IR Blaster, just on the same Wi-Fi.
From a personalized UI to industry-leading innovation in privacy.
So the beta is available today on all those partner manufacturers. They're basically like, we don't want to leave them out, you know, but it's Samsung and Google Pixel are the way to go right now, it seems like. I'll install the beta on my Pixel 5. I only use it for photos now, so yeah, I'll install the beta on there and give maybe a video on it like later on in the week.
Today, I'm excited to tell you about the biggest update to Wear OS ever. We've been
biggest update to Wear OS ever. That's key. That's really important.
Building a unified platform jointly with Samsung.
Okay. I'm honestly more excited about this than Android 12. Waiting for third-party car keys because I can't afford a luxury car. Yeah, no, it really needs to be definitely more. Everyone can have it.
Google apps. And third, a world-class health and fitness service created by the newest addition to the Google family, Fitbit. There's a lot to share here.
Okay, this is also Fitbit being entered in here. Fitbit has still been its own company until now, even though Google bought it. Samsung.
From the early days of Android, whenever we've tackled problems together, the ecosystem.
God, it's an hour and a half later, and now we're getting good finally.
And now we're combining the best of our two operating systems, Wear OS and Tizen, into a unified platform focused on faster
Wear OS
performance,
and Tizen?
longer battery life, and a thriving developer community. Working together, we've made apps start up to 30% faster, and animations and transitions are super smooth.
Because Wear OS was slow, so they're using Tizen to speed it up.
From a wearable. Longer battery life.
Which with Tizen easily was way longer battery life comparing
run
to.
the heart rate sensor continuously, letting you better track your activity during the day and your sleep overnight. While giving you
These were all Tizen features that they're bringing to Wear OS, so that's pretty cool.
This combined platform isn't just for Google and Samsung. It will continue to be available for all device makers, which means developers can
A
build
Square
apps
Watch
through a
Android, we haven't seen
single
that
set
for a
of
while.
APIs and reach millions of consumers all over the
Where's
world.
Android 12? It's not on the beta thing in their link. It said available today, so it doesn't mean it's available now.
Who leads all product and experience
It
at
will be
Samsung
available
Mobile
today,
to Google I/O.
probably within the hour of this.
Thank you, Samir. For the past 12 years, Samsung and Google have worked together and made Samsung Galaxy.
Wow, they have a Samsung person doing the announcement for this.
We strive to create.
Everyone hit like for Ricky's links. Thank you guys. Yeah, I would appreciate a like, thumbs up for sure. My throat is kind of gonna need some tea after this.
And we are very excited about the new chapter of our partnership, wearables.
Okay.
The Galaxy Watch is already loved by Android smartphone users with our signature designs, cool watch.
Are they gonna announce the new watches now?
An innovative health platform. We are bringing the best of these Galaxy Watch capabilities together with Google on a single platform, unifying the ecosystem for customers and developers. We work closely to optimize the performance, meaning better responsiveness and longer battery life. You will also be able to enjoy
Even though it's 7:30 p.m. in the UK, man, it's hanging in there, right?
And more on the next Samsung Galaxy Watch. I am
Google Maps will be on the next Samsung Galaxy Watch.
The developer community to our new, vibrant and open ecosystem. Thank you. Back over to you, Samir.
Very interested. Very interested.
We're very excited about our partnership, and I know many developers will be thrilled about our
Because again, I do feel that Tizen OS was way better than Wear OS. So very interested that they've really created more of a partnership with this in software.
To tell you more, let me hand it off to Björn.
They keep passing this along. Just tell us already, damn it.
Hey everyone. Over the last 7 years, we've learned a lot about what people love most about their smartwatch, and we've built a whole new experience with your preferences in mind.
Okay.
First, our new
Finally.
navigation system makes it faster than ever to get things done on your watch. No matter what you're doing, you can access shortcuts to important functions like instantly switching to another app. Let's say I'm running with Strava and I'm about to hit that long, grueling hill. I just double press to switch to my last app, Spotify, put on my most motivating song, and then switch right
Double
back
press
without
what? The
missing a
screen?
beat. It's such a simple thing.
Interesting.
for a
So
more
really
helpful
quick
and fluid
navigation to your most
experience.
recent app.
People have also told us
I want to know
they
what
love
you
getting
double switch to
glanceable
get there,
pieces
though.
of helpful information just to swipe away from their watch face. So we're expanding our collection of tiles. Thanks to the new Tiles API, any developer can create one, giving people many more ways to customize their home screen carousel.
I'm guessing a tile is like a widget.
Now I can go from checking my next meeting to the weather forecast to this new tile
Yeah,
from
it's
Calm,
widget.
which helps me relax before a stressful event like presenting at Google I/O. We've also been hard at work revamping the Wearables app experience with a material design update and expanded capabilities, starting with your favorite ones from Google. This includes things
Okay.
like getting turn-by-turn navigation in Google Maps when you leave your phone behind, being able to use Google Pay in 37 countries and more than 200 public transit systems around the world, or downloading music from a catalog
Will
of more than 70
Samsung
million
watches
songs for offline
have
listening in the YouTube
Samsung
Music
Pay
app, even
or
without your
Google
phone
Pay or
nearby.
both? That's
We're
very interesting.
thrilled about all the ways you'll be able to experience
That's
the best of
that's
Google on
freaking
your
cool.
watch.
Downloading YouTube Music offline is a really
Speaking of
cool
the best of
feature.
Google,
That's
I'm
something that
delighted to
Spotify's had
welcome the
on
newest member of the
Samsung
family to Wear.
watches, so that's really cool that you can have that on here.
Health and fitness
Okay,
is
now they're talking about
essential
Fitbit
for
integration.
wearables, and Fitbit has built a world-class service. So now, I'd love to welcome James to share more about our collaboration.
Why do they keep switching to different people? Like, one person can do this presentation.
Nearly 14 years ago, my co-founder Eric Friedman and I started Fitbit with a mission to make everyone in the world healthier. We've shipped over 130 million Fitbit devices as part of that mission. But over time, we've gone beyond just helping people track their fitness to supporting them in their health journey by providing a range of devices from trackers to smartwatches, along with software and
I still want to see the home screen and all the apps. That's what I want to see with Wear OS the most. I want to see the quick panels. Those I need to know how it navigates now, and the navigation really didn't tell me everything. It just told me now I can double tap to go back basically to another app or something. That's pretty cool.
Progress throughout the day and on-risk celebrations to help keep you motivated. In the future, we'll be building premium smartwatches based on Wear that combine the best of Fitbit's health expertise with Google's ambient computing capabilities. All this is just the beginning of how, together with Google, we can do even more to inspire and motivate people on their journey to better health. Back to you, Samir.
They're like talking but not saying anything, basically. Like, okay, they're bringing, but like, why don't you show us? Is it just really not ready?
This fall. Stay tuned for our developer keynote.
They want to
learn
make
more
exclusives
about
all the
new
companies.
tools and libraries to help you build great apps for the watch. From a unified platform with Samsung to a new consumer experience and a world-class fitness service.
They're not showing us anything. That's really frustrating. They keep talking about all the changes but not actually showing us.
So that was a lot. But before we move on from
Not really. It wasn't a lot. You're saying that's a lot. It wasn't a lot because you actually didn't tell us anything or show us anything.
As the world's largest OS, we have a responsibility to build for everyone. As part of our ongoing commitment to product inclusion, we're working to make technology more accessible and equitable. One of the most important parts of any smartphone is the camera. Pictures are deeply personal and play an important role in shaping how people see you.
Wait, are we just
and how
abandoning
you
Wear
see
OS or
yourself.
is this still part of it?
But for people of color, photography has not always seen us as we want to be seen, even in some of our own Google
Definitely.
products. To make smartphone photography truly for everyone, we've been working with a group of industry experts to build a more accurate and inclusive camera. Let's take a look.
That's definitely a big thing because, yes, people with dark skin tones, I feel like you're always, you know, sometimes it could be your actual skin tone, or maybe more brown, or maybe more orange, or maybe like a different shade. Like you're not your own shade.
It's still reaffirming this
As I
idea
say
that
this, my shade isn't really
people
accurate on the
are
camera.
worthy of
Now it
being
is,
seen.
but like,
So far,
I guess when I look up, it gets my face gets whiter.
image makers who've taken thousands of images to diversify our image data sets, helped improve the accuracy of our auto white balance and auto exposure algorithms, and given aesthetic feedback to make our images of people of color more beautiful and more accurate.
The process
Wow.
was create almost
That's
like a
awesome.
guidebook to capture.
That was an awesome comparison for sure.
I can't help but think of my mom, and she still thinks that she's not beautiful because of pictures were taken of her when she's younger. How many little girls are thinking they're not beautiful because they were the darkest skinned person in the photo and they didn't get represented?
The work is for us to do.
Definitely
It's
true.
not for people to change the way they look. It's for us to change the way the tools work.
I mean, I notice that obviously all the time with, you know, me and my daughter and my wife. It's different complexions don't always come out the same
Our
in
engineering
photos.
team is learning a tremendous amount working with these experts. And we're making changes to our computational photography algorithms to address long-standing problems. For example, we're making auto white balance adjustments to algorithmically reduce stray light to bring out natural brown tones and prevent over-brightening and
Nice.
desaturation of darker
That's really
skin
good.
tones. We're also able to reflect curly and wavy hair types more accurately in selfies with new algorithms that better separate a person from the background in any image. Although there's
I did that with
still
my son.
much
Remember
to do,
showing you that the portrait shots right now, currently available, are actually way worse than just having a bigger sensor like Samsung Ultra does. So it gets a much better line compared to what any portrait shot does
we can make
with
cameras
curly hair.
that work fairly for everyone. Thank you.
Or if you have, you know, spiky hair or anything, basically. How do we jump from Wear OS to photos? What, just... Really? Like Google Car is like, what the heck? How am I supposed to map that?
As Sundar shared, we want to build a more helpful.
All right, we will be ending at 12, guys. So hopefully they'll finish before then, or at least all the important stuff. But basically in 20 minutes, I'm going to be finishing up.
Today, I want to bring you inside to see how our recent advances in image recognition are helping to solve some of the world's big health challenges. Let's start with breast cancer, a diagnosis that 1 in 8 women will face in their lifetime. Mammograms can help catch breast cancer earlier, but
I mean, Android and Wear OS was such a small part of this. Like, I think they literally spent maybe 15 minutes total for both of them. So, like, it was so quick. That kind of sucks.
And now we're collaborating with Northwestern Medicine on an investigative device research study to better understand how AI can apply to the breast cancer screening process. Let's hear why this matters.
I mean, you're really talking about products you're using to... You're basically talking about algorithms you're creating to fix something now. Which, again, is, of course, important, but, like, this could be in the regular developer stuff, not the showcase for developer stuff.
Waiting for the results.
If Tizen and Wear OS are being combined, will Samsung become the stock Android phone? No, but they are making the stock Android phone. They are making the Pixel 6. So Samsung is making the Pixel 6, which has not happened since the Nexus days. The Nexus 6, actually, was the last time that happened, and Huawei made that phone, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's a lot of big difference kind of thing.
Intelligence that scans the mammogram image. It helps flag patients that may need additional imaging. I get an email that says the patient has been flagged.
So yeah, I think, I mean, they're on to their Goodwill stuff and everything like that, which is great, but just on something interesting covering live, basically. So yeah, I think we'll call it a show today, guys. went an hour and 40 minutes. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, Android 12 unfortunately and Wear OS was a very small portion of it, but at least we got to hang out for a little bit during the day. Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching. I will be having my must-have apps video drop later today, so make sure to check that out. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.
We want everyone
Thank
to
you
have
for
the
watching our
highest
video.
quality
If you
care.
liked it, why don't you go ahead and
Technology
subscribe up
can
there.
and should
Make
help
sure you
close
follow us on
the
social
equity
media
gap.
right here.
That's why we're
And
working
of course,
to bring
check
this
out our
technology
latest
to bear
video
on
up
important
there.
global health
And
challenges,
right down here,
from
you're
diabetic
gonna find the
retinopathy
perfect
to our
video
new
for
work
you.
to improve
Or at least that's what
tuberculosis
YouTube tells
detection.